What's going on, everybody? It's your boy GemMint, and this is the new comic book day review video. I have a new setup here that I'm working with. I wanted to call this like off the rack, but I don't know, it felt kind of corny. Let me know if you hate it. I got the different light going on. It might be distracting, but I'm just trying things out here. So this is like a 3-week catch-up video. I was moving over the last week or so, but 3 weeks ago, I only had 3 titles on my pull, and my shop was shorted one of the titles, so it wasn't going to be much of a video anyway. But a lot of stuff from last week. We got stuff from this week. As always, I'm going to try to keep it as spoiler-free as I can. If you like these videos, leave a like on the video, drop a comment below, subscribe if you want, and let's talk about what I read digitally first. Of course, I had to go Exquisite Corpses, issue number 3, James Tynion, the 4th. I feel like he doesn't use the 4th anymore. Anyway, you guys know the premise of this by now. It's kind of like The Purge, but it's being ran by the 13 richest families in the country, I believe. And the winner of the game, if you will, is like in charge for the next 5 years. So we're in the midst of the killing. Each respective family / state has their own killer. So we had like this nursemaid killer who sneaks into a hospital, and I don't want to spoil it obviously, but you can get the picture from there. I dug it. It's a good indie book. I'm not reading too many indies right now. I was going to give iTyrant 1 a read this week, and I kind of ran out of time. News from the Fallout 2 comes out. I haven't read issue 1 yet, but I might get caught up on those. Let me know if iTyrant and News from the Fallout was worth it. But otherwise, I have some Marvel books that I read digitally. Captain America issue 2, Chip Zdarsky. I feel bad calling this issue kind of boring. This is like a retelling of the Silver Age Cap, except he doesn't join the Avengers in this story, or at least not yet so far. But it kind of feels patriotic, and Captain America is trying to find his way in this new world, fighting these wars, but it's kind of different than what he's used to, that kind of whole thing. Kind of a subtle issue, cool stuff with Dr. Doom. I have a feeling Doom's going to be everywhere now leading up to Doomsday, right? But the Doom stuff has a little bit of a twist at the end. It was good. After the issue finished, I was glad that I read it. All right, then we have, similar to that, Spider-Man vs. the Sinister 16, issue number 1. This is by J. Michael Straczynski. I thought I had it memorized. And Phil Noto on the art. So the premise of this is that Peter and Mary Jane are going out to dinner. They got tickets for an exclusive restaurant. You can't ever get tickets to this French restaurant or reservations or whatever. And then a bunch of heroes and villains also show up there. So there's this big group of superpowered good and bad characters. And I don't want to give too much away. We find out why that happens, and it ends up being a little bit cute at the end. It's a one-shot. I think J. Michael Straczynski has like another one-shot coming out after as well. If you really love Spider-Man, it's one of those other ones where as I was reading it, I was like, okay, I know where they're going with this, and then they kind of go a little bit in a different direction, but it ends up being worth it at the end. Then the last one, digitally, Wolverines and Deadpool's issue number 2. Who is doing this? Ziegler, Antonio, and Guru EFX. This one's just okay. You have the Shadow King, as you can see on the cover, lurking in the background, trying to make his way to the real world. He's trying to use Ellie, which is Deadpool's daughter, as a vessel, using her physical form, which I'm reading, and I'm like, wouldn't it make more sense to take X-23? Ellie's got kind of flawed powers, a flawed healing factor after she used some of it to resurrect her father. But you got the typical Deadpool Wolverine banter, but there's 2 of them. They each have daughters. They're girl dads. But it was okay. It was pretty cool. There's better Wolverine titles out on the rack. Speaking of on the rack, see, I get to use my little thing. Let's start with Justice League, The Dark Tomorrow Special, issue number 1. This is a one-shot by Guggenheim, Mark Waid, and Tormey with Ferraro Jr. So I wanted to pick this up because it seems like everything that I'm reading DC is like Elseworlds, really is absolute universe. Is that what they even call it? So I wanted to see what's going on in the main realm. So they have this story of these speedsters that can time travel, and they're being hunted. It sounds familiar, but it's different. It's this Legion of Superheroes story. Doesn't really get me hooked in wanting to jump into the main continuity. It feels like another Crisis event. It feels like something that we've been there, done that. There's a couple backup stories that try to get you into what's going on in the main universe. So anyway, not really into it. But speaking of main universe, I am reading Batman with Hush 2, and this is part 4. Issue 161, Jeff Loeb with Jim Lee and Scott Williams and Alex Sinclair on the colorist. So, I'm reading this and I'm thinking, man, if you've never read Killing Joke and if you've never read Hush 1, you're probably going to be pretty lost right now. It is dope to get Jim Lee and Scott Williams art. There's actually this double-page spread I want to show you guys. Yeah, boom. So very Batgirl heavy, dealing with the whole should we kill Joker so he doesn't kill more kind of trope. Like, I'm reading this and I'm like, we're still dealing with that? If you don't just kill this man already? But I like the chess theme. I like, the Hush kind of playing the background thing like he does. Great art, and the writing is good too. But it's funny. I thought I liked this more than I do when I go back to talk about it. I can see why people don't like Hush too. I like it, but it's not the best. Since this is here, Ultimates 14 comes out this week. I have issue 13. I have only read up to issue 6, so I'm waiting on the second trade so I can read 7 through 12, and then we'll start covering the Ultimates weekly as they come out. All right, what's next on the rack? I kind of like this because I don't even know the order. So one of my favorite comics out right now is Absolute Superman. Issue 10 drop. This is by Jason Aaron with GemMintC. I definitely didn't say that right. And Areola, which I might not be saying right either. I love this series. So you've got, what's going on here? You've got the Lazarus Corporation headed by Ra's al Ghul. They're coming for Superman. He wants Superman. Ra's al Ghul calls him his son. He wants him to, I don't know what he wants him to do, to be honest. But I'm digging this story. You got Lois Lane. Is she on our side or is she not? You've got Jimmy Olsen as part of the Omega Men. He is not the Jimmy Olsen that you know and love. But we get a little bit of life on Krypton, a little bit of what makes Kryptonites who they were, working in the red fields and what they had to endure those last days. Great stuff in this issue. Again, it's one of my favorites that's out right now. All right, next up, we've got, going to be a little bit all over the place today, Absolute Green Lantern issue number 5. This is by Al Ewing, I believe. They don't tell you on the front. Yeah, Al Ewing and Lindsay. So what we get here is why Joe was chosen as the Green Lantern. What happened when Abin Sur dropped down and caused Hal Jordan to have this black hand. So all of that stuff that we've kind of heard about while reading the first issues, we're seeing what really went down in real time and then where they end up, which obviously we don't want to spoil. But I do like this one. Again, it has like this horror feel to it. I don't think any of the Absolute titles have been bad. And then speaking of that, we got Absolute Wonder Woman with issue 10. This is by Kelly Thompson along with Sherman and Belair. I really dig this series. So she is the protector. Diane saves this little girl, Petra, and as she's saving her, they kind of give us what makes Diana tick, going to her past as a child, how she wouldn't fight this big beast monster no matter what he did to her. But the moment he threatens something that she loves, something that's under her protection, she jumps in. I like the feel of this whole, I want to say run or arc. The whole line so far, the whole run, I should say, has been great. It feels like a comic book version of what if Wonder Woman was in the Hercules cartoon, if that makes sense, but in a good way. If you guys missed out on any of those San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, look no further than that Spider-Man booth on Whatnot. They've got the Invincible Universe Battle Beast exclusive by Ryan Otley, the Marvel Swimsuit Special by Rose Besh, and they even got that rare Jim Lee Hush 2 black and white cover. Make sure to bookmark that Spider-Man booth's upcoming shows and give them a follow. All right, keeping it moving, we got Ultimate Wolverine issue number 8. This is by Condon, Capuccio, and Valenza. So I really dig the Ultimate titles as well. Ultimate Wolverine is great. It's basically like what if Logan was transformed into the Winter Soldier in this Ultimate universe. Now we're at the part of the story where Logan is Logan again, and he's trying to make up for the sins of the past. What they find here is another mutant that hasn't been introduced yet. I don't even want to spoil it. It was badass. It reminded me of Uncanny X-Force days. That's all I'm going to give you. Love Ultimate Wolverine. It's a great title. They're ending soon, these Ultimate titles, which I have mixed feelings about. Bring on the Bad Guys. We have Loki. I was so upset when I realized I forgot to talk about Bring on the Bad Guys Abomination on the last video. Man, that was a great issue. But here is Loki. So this is by Oliveira, Morales, and Nitro. You got a backup by Guggenheim, Maria, and Sanchez Almara. So they all have this overarching story. You have this sister Sorrow. She's looking for these artifacts. Doom gets involved. He doesn't want her to get them. He's trying to hunt them for himself. And then you got Mephisto in the mix as well. So that's like the overarching thing. And then the Bring on the Bad Guy story tells a story of Loki needing to kill somebody for Mephisto, get his soul. And it's this writer, this playwriter that he has to kind of befriend. And Loki is an art lover. So Loki actually gets involved with the whole play and really cracking the whip to make him write this. And it's very Loki written. I don't want to spoil it. I'm trying to be vague, but it was a good story. I've been liking all of those titles. I think Red Skull is next. So I'm looking forward to that one. And I think there was another title. Oh, the Mephisto one-shot. All right, so we missed Amazing Spider-Man 8 and 9. I just read them back to back. This is by Joe Kelly and John Romita Jr., but this week's issue has a guest artist with Dowling. So I was going into these like, man, I am not digging the mainline ASM title. Like, I don't give a damn about this Hellgate character, and they're doing these issues like damn Dragon Ball Z episodes where they're doing one fight over multiple titles. And that's kind of what happens in issue 8, but what the ramifications of this fight that bleed over to today, this week's issue, I did not see that coming. And it's almost like Hulk in Infinity War. Spider-Man, this is kind of light spoiler, where gets whooped so bad that he doesn't want to be Spider-Man anymore. So they kind of hooked me with this. I was surprised. I thought I was going to come into this video bashing ASM. All right, what's on the rack, y'all? Oh, so yes, there's a lot better Wolverine titles out than Deadpool's and Wolverines, and there's better Spider-Man titles out, which we'll get more into than Amazing Spider-Man. But you have Spider-Man vs. Wolverine, issue number 3, Guggenheim with Kari Andrews. Yo, Kari Andrews makes this such a worthwhile read. No, I'm not taking anything from Guggenheim. The story is cool too. It's basically Logan may or may not have been responsible for killing Peter's parents back in the day. They're all trying to figure it out. They were pissed. In the last issue, Wolverine guts Spider-Man, and it almost looks like he kills him, but, I mean, obviously, they're not going to kill Spider-Man, so not really a big spoiler. They end up in the Savage Land. They each have a costume change, so we get black suit Spider-Man, brown and tan Wolverine, Kari Andrews channeling his inner McFarlane, and I'm here for it. Plus, there's a lot of great stuff, a lot of great action. You're in the Savage Land. There's dinos, there's T-Rex, there's Velociraptors. Great stuff going on there. I'm actually really happy that I started reading that series. But the best Spider-Man title on the stands right now still has to be Ultimate Spider-Man. We're here on issue 19. There's only 5 more issues left. Jonathan Hickman, Marco Cicchetto, Wilson. So, speaking of Wilson, you got Wilson Fisk on the cover there. Ultimate Spider-Man. I don't even want to spoil what goes down in here, but Richard Parker, he has the suit, which they've dubbed the black suit. Like, it could do anything. It's nanotech stuff, but he's the black suit. So how do we introduce the ultimate version of Venom? It's in this issue. Spider-Man's life is falling apart. Mary Jane, she wanted to be supportive. She wanted to be there for him to be Spider-Man. She could tell something was missing, but it's like taking its toll on her. They have to leave their apartment. They're staying with family. The family's not safe. They're not sure what's going on with their son with this suit. Great stuff here. It is bittersweet that they're going to end this off, but I kind of get it. Hickman probably doesn't want to write Spider-Man for the rest of his life. He probably doesn't want to give it to anybody else because we went down that route with the Krakoa era stuff, but this was kind of a different take on how I did this. I guess this is the last issue. Let me know what you thought about the format, I guess. But Savage Wolverine issue 1. This is by Tony Bloom, Devmala, is it Promanik, Guillermo, Sana, Javi, Tartaglia. I think these are all different names and not first and last, because what this is a one-shot comic book that retailed like $7, but I'm pretty sure this was collected as like an 8-issue or released as an 8-issue web series. So Savage Wolverine, this is kind of like one of the Wolverine stories when he leaves Krakoa. After the fall of Krakoa, he gets on his motorcycle and dips. Where does he go? Well, he ends up in this small town that seems barren, and it seems like this town had a lot of mutants. When the Krakoa era popped off, half the town left, made it a ghost town, created this hatred of mutants within this town, and Wolverine finds himself in this predicament, kind of needing to save the town and battle some kind of like Akira level bio whatever you call that, enemies. I wouldn't recommend it. If you read it, I don't know, let me know what you think about it below. It was kind of a cool read, but again, I wouldn't really recommend. So that's the first new comic book day review video in the new house. So the setup, you know, I got the calyx behind me, but I wanted to kind of angle the desk and put the spinner rack on, you know, front and center here, show off the new comics. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments down below. Thank you for watching. Stay minty fresh, and I am heading to StatueCon this weekend, so be on the lookout for some new statue content. They supposedly got like 60 or 70 new pieces there. We've got guests. We got Flippy here. We got Mike Cecilia and Beth here, so keep on the lookout for that, and catch you guys next time. Stay minty fresh. Peace.